Hello and welcome to this video on the IT and Society Research Domain, popularly known as ITS at IIIT Bangalore. My name is Preeti Mudliar and I am an assistant professor with teaching and research interests in human-computer interaction and qualitative research methodologies. At ITS, my faculty colleagues and I represent different social science domains ranging from information studies, political science, economic geography, and public policy. And we bring this diverse expertise to the courses we offer at the Institute. To name just a few, our course offerings include classes on technology and society, artificial intelligence and ethics, accessibility for the differently abled, technology and development, news literacies, human-computer interaction, information and communication technology policy and regulation, dynamics of the IT industry, as well as methods courses in quantitative and qualitative research methodologies. We are fortunate to host an equally eclectic student community at ITS who join us in exploring how social factors shape a range of technology concerns, from the design of technology to its implementation, issues surrounding technology use and non-use, as well as policy formulations. We hope to give you a preview of some of our work in this video. My colleague Janaki Srinivasan will begin with a brief introduction of CITAPP, which is the Center for IT and Public Policy at ITS. This will be followed by several of our students discussing the learning and research experiences in the ITS research domain, as well as the MSc Digital Society program. We also have two former students of the MS by Research and the MSc Digital Society program, Supriya De and Vidya Y, talk about their experience of founding Vision Empower, a not-for-profit startup which empowers children with visual impairment through inclusive education. This video will end with a short clip on the MSc Digital Society program, and we invite you to explore more of this unique interdisciplinary master's degree that we offer at ITS, along with the MS by Research and PhD tracks. We look forward to hearing from you. If you find yourself curious to learn more about the various things you will see in this video. You will find our contact details on the IIIT Bangalore website, as well as at the end of the video. Janaki will now introduce you to CITAPP.
Hi, I'm Janaki Srinivasan. I'm the convener for IIITB's Center for IT and Public Policy, or CITAPP for short. CITAPP is a think tank set up to focus on the policy and organizational challenges that have emerged from innovation in digital technologies. We believe strongly that the design, deployment, and the use of digital technologies needs to be rigorously researched and critically evaluated. At CITAPP, we undertake interdisciplinary research to understand the social, economic, and political implications of digital technologies. In recent times, this has included research on how digital technologies have reshaped the nature of work automation and the lives of workers, as well as how class, caste, and gender influence the uptake of digital IDs and digitally mediated governance. Because our goal is to nurture public policy and debate on inclusive, ethical, and equitable design of technology, CITAPP collaborates with academia and other research think tanks, with policymakers, public officials, technologists, civil society, and community organizations. To reach all of these diverse audiences, we at CITAPP produce a range of outputs based on our research. So this includes publishing academic monographs and articles in top-tier journals and conferences. We also make our research available through online and offline media to encourage public engagement and action. We produce training material for public officials. I would like to share some examples of the work that we have done in the past year. CITAPP faculty V. Sridhar brought out an edited volume on data-centric living, algorithms, digitization, and regulation with Rutledge this year. A result of collaborations between CITAPP faculty and other IIITB faculty, this interdisciplinary volume examines the socioeconomic and regulatory challenges of living in a data-driven world and what that means for domains such as health, finance, and governance. True to CITAPP's ethos, chapters in the book cover both technological and social dimensions of datafication in skilling and employment, in gaming, in the use of mobile money, and in accessing welfare benefits. The book also examines technological and regulatory solutions to the privacy and ethical concerns that have been unleashed by datafication. Several CTAP faculty work on different dimensions of work and workers in the digital age. Of particular interest are the automation of work and the platform economy. Balaji Parthasarathy, Preeti Mudaliar, Sridhar, and I research various aspects of the platform economy as part of multiple projects. One of these projects is the Global Fair Work project that seeks to highlight the best and worst labor practices in the platform economy. My colleague Balaji Parthasarathy and I are a part of the Fair Work India team that is anchored at IIIT. Our team brings out an annual report that evaluates and ranks prominent gig work platforms in India along the five fair work principles of fair pay, fair conditions, fair contract, fair management, and fair representation. The 2020 Fair Work India report highlighted the precarious conditions faced by gig workers. We are hopeful that we can continue working closely with workers, platform management, policymakers, and consumers to build a fairer future for gig work. CTAP faculty have also been engaged in working directly with governments and international bodies to produce training material for public officials. Earlier this year, my colleague Amit Prakash conceptualized an academy module on digital government and transformation for the United Nations Asian and Pacific Training Center for Information and Communication Technology for Development. This module provides an overview of how digital technologies can be used to improve the quality of governance and contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. We look forward to growing our research, collaborations, and outreach in the coming years. If you'd like to know more about our work or collaborate with us, do reach out at citap@iitb.ac.in. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you everyone for being here. We're going to be discussing our courses, our respective courses, and what we've learned, what we like about them, what our experiences have been. So, thank you everybody for joining this discussion. I am Gayatri. I am a student of the Digital Society MSc program here at IIITB at the Center for IT and Public Policy. And I am currently working on a thesis with Professor Amit Prakash in broadly the area of accessibility research, but more particularly around developing accessible forms of content in science, technology, engineering, and maths for vision impaired children. So that is perhaps more specifically what I'm doing currently. I'm a second year student, so the kind of research opportunities available to me through a thesis and subsequently after that, perhaps in full time positions, are pretty cool. I get to interact with a lot of the very eminent people in my field, a lot of the very established researchers in my field. I get to learn a lot from the kind of work that's already been done. And another really another really important thing about particularly the accessibility space and where the Digital Society program comes in is the Center for Accessibility in the Global South is at IIIT Bangalore. IIITB is one of the main sort of institutions that are part of it. So this program really allowed me to get full support from CAGS and from Professor Amit Prakash as a faculty who's involved in accessibility research himself. But more broadly about the program, it has been a really interesting journey over the past 1.5 to 2 years, because before entering the program, I had a rather um, let's say a rather hazy view, a very sort of unclear view about what a program that's named Digital Society would mean. Coming from a social sciences background myself as an undergrad from the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, we never really were trained to think about the social sciences as being involved in any way in the tech sector. We knew that the social sciences were interdisciplinary, but the sort of intersection of technology and society was not really something that was, say, mainstream or was considered mainstream, at least at the time that I was studying. And I think that it is one of the most defining conversations of our time, how technology is shaping society. So I think it's a very timely course, and there is never a dull moment in class because there's always something new happening that you want to discuss or that you want to critically analyze, whether it's theoretically or whether it's through experience. We always have something from the course to relate to. It could be a discussion on the way crypto has crashed. It could be a discussion on how crime against women online, even in places like the metaverse, which are barely new, barely existed for a year now. They seem to repeat patterns that social scientists have been studying for years, but in different settings. So basically, I think one of the biggest hallmarks of the Digital Society program is it gives rise to very interesting conversations. And I think that those conversations in themselves are the biggest learning site. So if I have to talk about one thing I was inspired by about the program, it would be to think very multidimensionally and to be very sort of outrageous in my thinking, because 2 3 years back, if somebody told me that I would be embarking on a career in research in a field like accessibility, I wouldn't have believed them. But here I am today. So, and it's been a very fulfilling journey, even though it's happened mostly online. COVID has affected a lot of us in many different ways, and particularly the way most of us have done this course. Um, it's still been very fulfilling, and I think the work of our faculty is a huge sort of testament to that. So yeah, so that's what my experience has been. Iyas and Vinayak, maybe one of you can go next. So anyone?
Okay, I can go next. Hello everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Iyas Abdurrahman. I'm also Digital Society student, batch 2021. Right now I'm on my second semester. I have bachelor degree in psychology from University of Indonesia in Indonesia. Here in the Digital Society program, I get mentored by Professor Priti with the expertise of scope of interest in human-computer interaction. I'm start growing my interest in research, specifically in user experience research, when I do my bachelor undergraduate study. So because of this interest, I have a get opportunity to work in research in industry in one of the online transport company in Indonesia that also have a engineering office here in Bangalore. That's why I get introduced into, I know there is a Bangalore in India that have a lot of growing and expert company and talent in terms of IT and technology. But I have a 3.5 years working experience as a UX researcher in this company. And during this working time, my interest kind of like grow into kind of like trying to understand more on a social and also technological research in academic landscape. Because I want to kind of like develop not only research skill, but also knowledge and technology in social science. I also have interest in digital product development skill. That is why I feel like Digital Society program is fit to this wide range of my interests. I think there is a background about me. I think maybe we can introduce our background one by one first, and then we discuss more on the, how we feel about this program after we already in the program. Maybe Vinayak can go next.
So, hello everyone. My name is Vinayak Jha, and I'm currently a student of MSc Digital Society 2021. So, basically, I did my graduation from University of Delhi in anthropology, and my study was all about holistic nature of how to study humans. The only the only time that I decided that I need to kind of shift was when COVID pandemic hit, right? That time I realized that digital spaces are getting created. And as an anthropologist, sometimes we have to move to this new area, right? We have to conduct our interviews online. We have to understand people online. Even my prime interest was in healthcare, which is also moving in the direction of, digital healthcare. So overall, seeing all the, changes that have been happening, I decided that it's time that, I come to this, digital program and start to understand uh, anthropology in the way that, right? But the one thing that when I joined it, my mind was like, it would be more about coding. It would be more about, technology, and where would I fit myself here? Like people who code well would go far ahead than me and something. But technology has a lot of social sciences in it, and the whole space itself has a requirement of social scientists. And if we plan a technology well in an inclusive way, that is all we can do for development of our country. So that whole idea of how the things work basically made me. So currently what I'm doing is that my interest basically is in healthcare, right? And in healthcare, I'm trying to understand the whole digital landscape of how, in COVID, telemedicine was a very important thing for people to get. Even migrant laborers who were traveling from different states and different districts needed the importance, you needed the telemedicine. And I think in that, our like as a project I'm working on how the whole telemedicine area could be improved, so that more number of migrant people can not only access, but also they can avail the benefits that are associated with the government schemes. So that is all about me. I think Taru, would you like to go now? Yeah.
Hi everyone. So my name is Taru. I am currently a first year MSI research student in the IT and Society department, and I'm working with Professor Preeti Mutliar. So yeah, my broad area of interest is in gendered health and human-computer interaction. And to break it down, I would say I'm interested in studying the experiences of gender minorities while using any health-related technology, for instance, the health tracking apps. And even before that, sort of questioning whether these apps serve the purpose they claim to do and whether they're safe and inclusive. So currently, I am studying how people with this condition called polycystic ovary syndrome seek support and manage their condition, and what role does technology play in the process for them. And one of the things that I really like about this department and supervisors is that we truly intend to first understand the individual or the community that for whom we are designing, and we want to understand their context first before jumping to giving out recommendations or starting developing anything, which is something that a lot of engineers are not taught to do. And given that I also come from an engineering background, I did my BTech in information technology from IIT University Delhi. So given that I also come from that background, I do have that lived experience. And it's only after coming here that and being through the first semester that made me realize how incomplete my understanding of how technology really works is. And the courses in the Digital Society program are structured in a way so as to provide us with that holistic understanding. For instance, in the first semester, we had a course on technology and society, wherein we broadly studied how technology and society construct each other. So yeah, I think that's about my background. We can move to Deepa maybe.
Yes, Saru, thank you. Hello, everyone, and good to be here speaking to each other as well as communicating about our background and experiences. So I'm Deepa Austin. I'm a medical doctor, a dentist by profession, slightly different from the backgrounds that we have been introduced to. And I'm a PhD scholar now in the third year under Professor Amit Prakash, and working in the area of the public health. So my specialization is in public health dentistry, and also Masters in Hospital Administration. To give a little more about, introduce myself a little more, I would say, like, for 20 years, I worked as a clinician. I practiced in my own clinic, I worked as a lecturer in a college, in a dental college, also worked as a quality coordinator for some time. So that was the area I was more into. And yes, there was a point when I started thinking, as a doctor, the entire health sector is moving in an area, into a kind of a curative treatment. We are all into the treatment aspects, the advancements in science and technology, all mostly progressing in the area of, the disease starts, and then we think about the treatment. So there has to be a halt somewhere, and there has to be some break point, wherein you have to think about why is it that the preventive sector is not given much of importance. So that was a turning point for me to think more on those grounds, and that's when I started thinking about how the structure of the health system is as such, and what are the a kind of complexities, I would say, multiple systems interacting with each other. So that's when I got introduced to one of the terminologies called systems thinking. So to me, that was something very new, from being from a medical background. It was totally new, systems thinking. And I started kind of doing my own research in this area out of my own curiosity. And I knew that I came to understand that, see, there is something called systems engineering, which engineering people are already working on it, and they are all pro on that. So fine, okay. I thought, okay, and now it's time for me to look into the intersection. There has to be some way out wherein you'll have to identify how these two systems, the health system and the digital system, can converge and bring about something really good for the society. So it was this, a search of mine that ended up or landed me in IIIT, where I found this intersection to be very perfectly fitting. We have an e-health research center at IIIT, focusing on mainly three areas. One, of course, is the mental health, as everyone is really aware of the tele-mental health program of IIIT with Enhance now, that the whole nation is aware of it. We do have the other area of malnutrition, where I'm also working, my project is basically in that area. And then there is a disability sector. So these three areas are the focus areas of EHRC at IIIT. And that's where I'm now currently associated with. Probably will take it forward, and a little later I will come back to the exact interest and projects and all. Let me pass it on to Rajesh.
Thank you, Deepa. Hi, I'm Rajesh Hanbal, and I'm in the PhD program at IIIT Bangalore. And I have previously I have a bachelor's in computer science and a master's in public administration. And I previously worked in community development programs in ensuring that, especially with women and especially with marginalized women, trying to increase their voice in local governance through the use of digital technology. So I've worked with community radio and participatory video and setting up telecenters in the past. And what motivated me to take up an academic program at IIIT was that I wanted to really connect the knowledge in the academic world with the what we see through our interactions on a daily basis with people, essentially. So that is what motivated me to take up an academic program, so that I can bridge this huge knowledge base with the rich knowledge which is available locally. And what is it that I look at? I particularly look at rural governance, and I look at how technology, which is being deployed in almost every program, from Anganwadis to schools to hospitals, everywhere at the last mile technology is being used, and throughout there is a lot of digitization. So I look at what are the implications of this? Whom does it benefit? Whom does it not benefit? Whom does it leave out? And why does that happen? So that is briefly, very broadly what I'm looking at. And my motivation is essentially that there is so much of technology, so much of data. So to put it very simplistically, what is it doing? And why is it not helping if it is not helping, right? So that is what is my very broad motivation. And yeah, so lastly, what one thing that I really like about IIIT is the kind of freedom that exists. And one thing that I was really inspired by is to question everything. Nothing is holy grail, no matter who has published it, no matter how many citations it is, no matter what is its name and fame, everything can be put under scrutiny, right? And that's how new knowledge gets created. So that is one big takeaway for me from this program. And I can share more, but I'll pause for now, and then we'll probably go to Shashi, and then we'll come back. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajesh. Hi, everyone. My name is Shashidhar Gurumurthy. By my early education, I'm a Bachelor of Computer Science Engineering, very, very long back. And subsequent to that, I've been in the IT industry for close to 3 decades now. So I can say that I've been primarily developing various types of enterprise software. And subsequent 3 years back, I did take up a master's in business administration because I have an interest in starting my own company. And a couple of years back, almost exactly 2 years back, I left my regular software job and then started my own company in the area of training fresh engineering graduates in a specific technology called Salesforce, which is in quite high demand in the industry. And so in that role, in my role as an entrepreneur, which is focusing on skilling students and bringing them onto the jobs which are in high demand, one of the key requirements was to figure out how can we do this thing in a more efficient manner, in a more sustainable manner. And then we all have been also reading about things such as the traditional IT jobs are all going to go away, and more jobs will be based on what will require higher order capabilities, right? So those kind of a reskilling, what kind of skills are required in the newer job markets, and how can we do prepare our young engineering graduates for this new job role or even entrepreneurship. That is my key focus area. And I'm part of the IT and society domain within IIIT Bangalore. And my research mentor is Professor Amit Prakash. And I'm currently in the 2nd year and just still taking up the courses and figuring out how do I fine tune the research area. And unlike what first we started off with Gayatri, Iyas, and Vinayak, they all come from the social sciences background. And then Taru went and talked about how myself and Rajesh are all from computer science background. And that's one of the key things which I realized after having worked literally 26, 27 years in the IT sector, hardcore technology sector, that we never think about the social sciences and the importance it has in technology implementation, not just for development's sake or government's sake or the rural place, everywhere, right? We forget, or rather we are never taught, forget the forgetting part, we are never taught that this is important. None of the engineering colleges teach that. And then we go out and think why our projects don't function as they're supposed to function, because we don't consider the politics, we don't consider who wins, who loses. And that has been my huge learning right from the first course which I took up in IIIT. And I think that's the kind of an education which I think every engineering college in the country and maybe even worldwide needs to provide, that we can't just go with technology and hardcore sciences. The social aspects of it, they play a very key important role. And if you forget that, I think the effectiveness of everything which we do it will be questionable. And we see the results of that on a day-to-day basis. I think that's been a huge learning for me. Every single course. In fact, I was in a course with Gayatri last term. This term, I'm in a course with Yas, and the kind of discussions which we have and the opening of the mind which it does for me. It's just, though I'm not a good reader traditionally, but I read these papers when I go into the class. Every time it's huge learning, right? It's like a small kid in a candy store. So it's been a thorough, fantastic experience.
All right. On that note, we wrap up. Thank you everyone for being part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Supriya. When I joined IIITB in 2014, I had worked in the IT industry for more than 2 decades. I was keen to learn the methods of systematic research and actually investigate the evolution of this industry. This is what brought me to IIIT Bangalore, and I graduated with a master's by research in IT and society in 2017. But I'm so glad I joined. To me, it seemed that the coursework was carved out with exactly the content that I wanted to learn more about. The dynamics of the IT industry, the economic and social impacts of IT. And I learned a lot through the teaching assistantships in the planning and execution of some of the courses. Other than the coursework, the rich academic experience came from the application of research methods in the projects with global reach and with multidisciplinary teams. So I was lucky to be part of the CITAPP research project, Engineers and Society in Colonial and Post-Colonial India, with Professor Balaji Parthasarathy and Professor Amit Prakash. This led to my thesis. I was also fortunate to work on a project on digital identities with a global research team led by Professor Janaki Srinivasan. On graduation, it was immense support from the institute that Vidya and I got so that we could even aspire to start Vision Empire and then Wemby Technologies. So first, our training on research methods helped us. We designed our portfolio. Second, we could leverage on the IIITB network of corporate connects for funding. Finally, the research centers at IIITB helped us with research and outreach to stakeholders.
I'm Vidya. I was a student of Masters in Digital Society program at IIIT Bangalore from 2015 to 2017. What benefited me the most at IIIT Bangalore was that research was given more importance and there was flexibility to choose our own research areas, project and reading electives, and this was immensely beneficial. As I was interested in the areas of accessibility in education and technology for the visually impaired, I chose all my research work in these areas, and I was fortunate to be mentored by the best of the best faculty in India at the institute. I was also introduced to Microsoft Research by the faculty and completed my internship there. When it was time to choose a career, my natural interest in entrepreneurship and also the support of the institute led me to start my own organization called Vision Empower. I am visually impaired since birth, and 99.99% of the visually impaired students are discouraged from studying STEM subjects, that's science, technology, engineering, and math subjects, beyond high school. And this is because these subjects are fully visual. Though education in these areas lead to rewarding careers, children are not given opportunity to study these subjects. But I continued these subjects till my post-graduation just for the love of these subjects. And I knew that studying these subjects was possible with necessary support. And so we decided to focus on making STEM education accessible for visually impaired children at Vision Empire to ensure that children do not have to face challenges that I did during my education.